Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anton Boyko. I'm Microsoft Azure MVP, and today I want to talk with you about deployment of Node.js app on Azure. So we already talked a little bit about Azure websites, and today I will demonstrate you some live examples how we can deploy our Node.js application on Azure websites, and also how we can play a little bit around continuous deployment and all other stuff. So for today I have only this title slide. Now I will launch my screen share. So what we have here? Here I have my web storm, and here I have a regular application based on a Node.js framework. So inside index page I have this hello world, and also I add this custom paragraph app version, and I will provide a variable from the server to this template with name version. Also, I do the same for body background color. So I will provide background color for my entire HTML body. And here inside index I have just a regular render method with these two variables, version and background. Also, I use nconf npm module, and I configure this npm module to grab some config values from environment variables, and I will try to obtain my version from my environment variable, and also I will try to obtain my background from the same source. In case I will have no version, I will assume that I work on my local machine, and that's why my version will be dev version, and also I will provide like default gray background. So let's start it locally. npm start. Okay. And I will refresh my browser here. So, as you can see, locally, we have this Hello World app. And inside this Hello World app, we have app version dev. So, everything works fine. Now let's switch to our Azure portal. So here I have my Azure portal, and here I have my website called aboikonode.n, and I will deploy my application here. For now I will use like the most common way of deploying application to websites. I will use FTP deploy. So I will go to settings, I will go to properties, and here, as you can see, I have a lot of interesting stuff. For example, in my current scenario, I will use FTP secure host name. So I need to copy this value. Also, I need to copy FTP deployment user. So I need to copy this user. Here I want to highlight one thing again. As I told you in previous sections, this user is attached not to like this only website. So basically this username consists of two parts. The first one is website name, and the second one is my username. So The main idea is that this user have all required privileges to deploy on any Azure website attached to my subscription. So that's why if you will or if someone will compromise my password for this user, he will be able to access all websites from all my subscriptions by FTP. Now I will go to deployment credentials, and here, as you can see, I have my username, and also I can reset my password here. It's kind of common mistake when you go to Azure portal, try to create a user with name like deploy and with some simple password, and then you provide this user to like your entire team. But after that, all entire team obtain all privileges from this user. Like if I know the correct website name, I mean like this website name. If I know the correct website name and if I know username and password, I can easily access this site via FTP. So you do not need to share this password. It's very, very important. Okay, I will close this screen and I will go to my FTP client, and as you may see, I almost upload all my website files to FTP. So basically you can use any FTP client you want. For this current demonstration, I use classic FTP+. So this is my file structure on my web server at the right, and at the left I have my local project folder, and as you can see I upload almost all files here except like JIT specific files. So let's go to portal again, and I will click this browse button here. I need to wait a little bit. Okay, cool. Here I have my Hello World app version dev. But you know, this kind of deployment is very simple and straightforward, but there are some disadvantages. For example, as you may see here, I have this web config file, and also I need to copy this web config file to my web server. I can demonstrate you why I need to do it. I will open this file in Notepad++, and I will okay. Okay, language XAML, it will be easier to read this file. So let's say that I am a Node.JS developer, and my main job is to create a Node.js apps, so write a server JavaScript code. And it's not common for Node.js developer to be familiar with this kind of web config file configuration. So as you can see, I have configuration section here, system web server here, I disable cache, I disable WebSockets, and the more important part, I add my ESNode module, and I say that my ESNode module should grab bin/www and should respond to all requests using my Node.js application. Also some other stuff here. So basically, if you are not familiar with this kind of configuration, you will become confused very soon. Of course, Microsoft provides you with some links, and you can follow these links and obtain some help. But either way, it's like additional pain. And I do not want to have this pain. I want to deploy my application in a kind of very simple way, and maybe like the simplest way. So now I will demonstrate you another option. I will go to GitHub. I will go to GitHub. I will log into my GitHub account. I think I need to zoom it out a little bit. And here I have the same project in my GitHub. Also, I forget about another important stuff. Another disadvantage, if we talk about deployment using FTP, is not modules. So if I'm using FTP deployment, I need to also manage all my Node modules by myself. So in case I'm using FTP deployment, I'm unable to restore all Node modules automatically. So it's kind of additional pain, and we can avoid this pain if we will, for example, host our project on a GitHub, or it can not be GitHub, it can be like any, for example, Git source control system. It can be even your on-premise Git source control. It's not important. So here I have this project on a GitHub, and as you can see, the first thing, I do not have my Node modules here. I have my web config here, but it's not important. I will be able to delete it if I don't need it. I just leave it here as an example. So let's see how we can configure this kind of deployment from source control. On our Azure portal, I will scroll down a little bit, and here I have set up continuous deployment. I will click here. Now Azure asks me from which source you want to deploy. And as you can see, they support like a lot of source control. So it can be Visual Studio Online, it can be your on-premise Git repository, GitHub, Bitbucket, Dropbox, or some kind of external repository. I will use my GitHub. And now I log into GitHub earlier, so that's why Azure grabs my GitHub account. Now I need to choose my organization. If you're familiar with GitHub structure, you can have your personal repositories, and also you can have like some source control wrappers in another organizations. I will use this organization, Azure Day Demo, and I will choose project Node.js-ru, and I will choose branch. I have several branches. I will choose deploy prod. Here I want to also share some experience about Git. For example, if you have your master branch, and if you have like the latest stable version in your master branch, I will also recommend you to create another branch like deploy/prod or deploy/Azure or something like this. And it's just because you you not always want to deploy your website as soon as you have your latest stable version. Let's say that you have your latest stable version, for example, at noon, but at noon a lot of users can work with your website and you don't want to interrupt their work, so you will wait, for example, till midnight or something like this, and only after that you will trigger your deploy process. So that's why I will recommend you to have several branches, like master branch for the latest stable version and also another deploy branch which you will use for triggering your deploys. I will pause a little bit and I will try to answer one question from Q&A. What is the URL for the site? I will make it this way. So I think now you will be able to see these URLs. So if the question was about Azure portal, then URL is portal.azure.com. If the question was about my custom website, then aim is eboiko-node-n.azurewebsites.net. So basically, when you create a new website in Azure, you always will obtain this default name, like a subdomain of Microsoft Azure Websites.net. Of course, you are able to change this name. It will require a little bit additional configuration, but just for this demo purposes, I will use this default name generated by Microsoft. Okay. So I will click OK here. And now Azure portal will connect to my GitHub account. Azure will grab all source file from branch I specified, and also Azure will deploy like the latest version for that branch. Okay, and also if we click here, we can see that our deployment is ready. If we click here, we will see like statistic. Deploy status success triggered by GitHub. Author, it's me. This deploy takes like 6 seconds. Reason, as you may see, this one is this is a comment from a GitHub, and it was deployed here. I will close this. I will go to my website. I will refresh this page, and as you can see, everything works fine. I will go to my FTP, I will disconnect and reconnect again. It can take a little bit more time. I just want to show you that in GitHub there was no Node modules folder. I can even switch to deploy prod branch. So as you can see, inside this deploy prod branch, we do not have any Node modules folder, but our website works really great. And this folder was restored automatically. Okay, now another kind of interesting stuff. We have this app version and we have our background. In case we want to specify some additional settings for our website, it can be, for example, connection string to our database. But connection string, it's kind of a big example, so that's why I will use this tiny example with string variable here and background color. Okay, let's go to application settings here. I will scroll down a little bit, and here I have app settings, and I can set version, for example, 01, and background, I don't know, let's say green. Okay, save. Okay, it was saved. Now let's try to refresh this page. As you can see, now we have app version 01 and background is green. I will demonstrate again my source code. So basically, to achieve this magic, I need to reference my nconf module. Nconf module, it's like a regular module from npm. So as you can see, inside package.json, I have this nconf. To install nconf in your project, you just need to type npm install nconf -save, and that's all. So I reference my npm module, then I said I want this nconf module to grab variables from or to grab configuration from environment variables. And after that, I will just use get and I will provide the name of the variable. So version here, background here, and after that, I am able to do like really everything with these configuration variables. Like this. Okay, let's say that we create a new version of our product and we are ready to introduce this new version to our customers. But before we roll out it to production, we want to test it a little bit and demonstrate, for example, I don't know, maybe to our marketing department or just to head of our IT department or something like this. So I will go to Azure portal here. I will scroll down a little bit. And here, as you can see, I have deployment slots. I will click here. So for now, they said that I do not have any deployment slot. I'm not sure that this is kind of good phrase, because I always have at least one deployment slot. It's my production deployment slot. But let's add a new one. Let's say it, for example, test. And also I want to copy all my configuration from my production slot. I will click OK, and I will wait for several seconds until it finished his work. Okay, here I have my deployment slot. The name was test, so that's why Microsoft creates a new name, eboiko not n-test. And if I'll click here, as you can see, I will obtain the regular website configuration panel. But for now, it will be configuration panel for another website. I can hit browse, and as you can see, here I have some default landing page for my website. Okay, let's scroll down and let's configure deployment from source control again. The same GitHub. This organization. This project. And for now we will use a new branch called deploy test. Okay. So now I will use another branch just because when I will deploy to my production, I will just merge my changes to production branch. Well, when I will deploy my new website to test environment, I will just merge all my changes inside another branch. So I do not want to mess up with these branches. Let's go here and let's okay, our deployment is now in progress. We need to wait a little bit. Okay, it's ready. I will go to my test environment and I will refresh it. Okay, cool. I have the same website, but also with app version. Sorry. Sorry. But with app version 0.1 and also green background. I will go to portal and I will go to settings, application settings. And I will change my background to blue and my application version, for example, to 0.2. Let's test it. Okay, on our test website, this background is blue. On our production website, background is green. Okay. Let's say that we already test all features and now we are definitely ready to roll out this to production.
I will click swap on the portal. And here I need to provide like source and destination. So basically I will swap test and production environments. Now we need to wait a little bit. It can take some time for swapping these application slots. Okay, it seems like we are done. Let's refresh both pages. So now on production we have application version 02, but with blue background. And on test we have green environment and application version 01. It's not the good idea to use this in this manner, so let's swap it back. And and during this swapping I will demonstrate you another good feature. Let's say that we have some errors in our code. For example, this one. It will definitely produce an error. So it will definitely produce an error. Let's see it locally. Sorry guys for my voice. Quite an interesting stuff. Why I can see it locally. Okay. I will try another way. Okay, now we have an error. So basically, let's say that we have an error in our application, but for some reason this application was deployed. So let's deploy this app. Git commit. Error. Okay. Now I will switch, for example, to test. And, oh, sorry. and merge master in test. Okay. Okay. And let's push all this stuff. Sorry. Okay, everything works fine. Pum pum pum. Let's go and check it on a GitHub. Yes, it seems like we have this commit here. And on our test environment, so on our test environment we have this error, cannot find module and conf1. How we can fix it? Let's say that we faced like a little bit more serious problem and we are unable to fix it like in 5 seconds. But for example, here we are on our test environment. We can scroll down to deployment, and here we have our deployment history. We can click here, and this was deployed with message cleanup, and now we have merge branch deploy. So let's go to cleanup and set redeploy. Yes. So in this manner we will just roll out to previous deploy, and here we will be able to see like the latest 5 deploys. So we need to wait a little bit. Oh, it seems like it was successful. Let's try it here. Yes. So as you can see, we roll out our unsuccessful deployment, and now we are able to fix it. So let's fix it. And also let's go here and add something like Azure here. Okay, I will save it. I will set. I will commit this. Fix. Okay. It's not a good idea to commit directly to your deploy branch, but for demonstration purposes, it's not a big deal. Okay, close. So we have this commit on the GitHub. Yeah, less than a minute ago. Okay, and soon we will have this commit also in Azure. But before this, I want to show you another stuff. So let's go back to our backgrounds. Let's say that we are using this background color just to realize, for example, the exact environment for our web application. So let's say that for our production site, we will always have the UI and design and layout as it should be. But for example, for our test website, for our test version, we will also use some annoying background color. So just when user clicks for URL, and when this user came to our site, he can easily understand he work with production copy or test copy. So that's why I will choose this background setting, and I will say that this is my slot settings, and click Save. Okay, let's try to refresh this test website. So on our test website we have this new deployment because we have this Azure word, and also as you can see we have this blue background. I will close this and I will swap them again. Okay. Now we need to wait a little bit again. Okay, and now let's refresh these two pages. So on production we have Hello World Azure application version 02 with green background. On our test website we have this blue background and an old version of our app. So in this case you can easily manage, for example, your connection strings to your database. For production environment, you can put your connection string and set this is slot settings, and when you will go to your test environment, you will be able to do the same. So when you will swap these environments, you will always have production connection string for production and staging connection string for staging. I want to show you another demo. For each environment, let's say that I will produce error in this way. So I will type some unknown URL, so that's why I will have not found here and not found here. For a production website, it's okay. But for staging website, we can try to use a little bit more information. I will go to my favorite application settings. Also, I will open my web storm. And I want to show you that here, inside my app.js file, I always test. For example, if my application environment is development, then I will show additional information. In other case, I will show only like the basic information about error. So I will go here and I will, for my staging environment, provide something like node env and this value, and this is also slot setting. Let's hit save. Okay, so F5 and F5. On production we have not found, and that's all. On test environment we have some additional information, and also because this is a website. Because this is a site slot setting, if I will swap this environments back, I will also have this additional information only on my test environment. Now I want to demonstrate you another demo. I will switch to my production branch, and for my production branch I will remove this web config file. So delete and remove web config. Okay, commit and push. My username on another screen and my password also on another screen. Okay, done. Let's go to my GitHub. Let's go to my deploy prod, and here, as you can see, I do not have my web config. I will close all this stuff. And here I am on my production website. I will go to active deployments. Strange why I have fix here. It should be another deployment. Okay, let's try to sync, because maybe we will just not have these updates on our portal. Oh, yeah, now we have this remove web config. I will go to production site. And as you can see, everything works fine for production. I will go to my FTP, I will disconnect and connect again. And as you can see, I have both Node modules and I also have this web config. And yeah, it's kind of a good question. Why here I have this web config and not modules? I'm okay with it, but basically I do not have them inside my source control. And the answer is very easy. If I will go here, as you can see inside my deployments log, I have one of the steps called generating deployment script. I can click on view log, and here, sorry, it's it's not a good experience. Let's try to copy this. Copy, and maybe I will demonstrate you this file, this command here. So we are using like cached version of deployment script. In case we will trigger this deployment for the first time, if we will have no deployment script, this deployment script will be generated automatically. But we can also generate this script by ourselves. So here, as you can see, Microsoft use command called Azure with these arguments. What is Azure? Azure, it's just an cross-platform command line tool. If you go to Azure Microsoft.com website, if you go to downloads and scroll down a little bit, you will be able to find this command line tools section, and here you have Azure command line interface. It's a very good command line tool. You can use it for creating your scripts for automating Azure environment. Like you can create websites, you can create your databases and manage almost all other stuff. And also you can use Azure command line tool. Oh, let's type. Also, you can use your Azure command line tool, for example, if you want to create your own deployment script for publishing your Node.js application. So let's just type Azure, for example, here. If you have your Azure cross-platform tool installed, you will be able to write Azure from your terminal. If you are using Linux or from regular command line if you are using Windows. So here is your command line Azure. And here, as you can see, you can manage accounts, configs, HD Insight, mobile, network, blah blah blah. But for now we need to manage our site. So let's type Azure site. Enter. Now we will be able to see some additional commands for our website. As you can see, there are a lot of commands from this command line. So yeah, like a lot. But for now we need Azure site deployment script. So Azure site deployment script, and let's use help key. So here we have some help, and as you can see we also have this key called node. So if we will type this simple command, Azure site deployment script -- node, and hit enter, we will generate our deployment script locally. So as you can see now we have two files. The first one here, and it's just set config command equals to deploy cmd. And inside deploy cmd we have some command line stuff. I will scroll down a little bit and try to find some more interesting stuff. Okay, so here we have deployment section. Inside this deployment section we can see like regular commands like echo, handling Node.js deployment. Now it's a command for kudu sync. Kudu it's an engine for publishing your application on Azure websites. And for example here you have install npm packages, and as you can see, install npm packages, it's just call for execute cmd, npm cmd, install production. So basically it's the same as npm install production. So that's why we have our npm packages restored in Azure. And of course, you can customize a lot of other stuff here inside this deploy script. And if you want to know more about how to use these deployment scripts, just go to GitHub and here I think kudu. Yeah. So type kudu in your search box and you will find project kudu repository. So here you have documentation. You can see that this is an open source project and licensed under Apache license 2.0. You can ask your custom questions, for example, like on forums, and so on and so on. You can contribute to this project in case you like it, or you can download this project and try to understand what they have inside. And of course, all this project based on .NET. But either way, you are able to use it for deploying any custom application on Azure websites.